Sometimes a YouTuber leaves a lasting impression on you that you'll never forget. For this duo, I would like to accurately describe them as the first ever kings of YouTube. Like Markiplier is the king of Five Nights at Freddy's, these guys are the first ever kings of YouTube. They were the first most subscribed to channel on the entire platform, and they happened to be the very first YouTuber that I ever watched. Obviously, if you clicked on this video, you would know it's Smosh. Shut up! So this video was originally going to have a lot of different YouTubers that shaped this platform, but my section on Smosh got so long that I just decided I'm going to do several different videos on several different YouTubers. Let me know if you want to see someone covered. I really wanted to cover Smosh. Anyways, on to the video. So let's say you clicked on this video not knowing what Smosh was at all. Well, you've come to the right place because I'm about to tell you the whole story. Smosh started as a website called Smosh.com created by Anthony Padilla in 2002. His best friend, Ian Hecox, joined him in this endeavor and they created their first viral video in 2005. Their website began to gain a lot of traction, so much that it had become way too expensive and they ended up having to host ad space on the website, which they did through a company called Defy Media. Don't forget that name, it'll come up again later. The pair eventually moved their content to this brand new website called YouTube when their traffic became unmanageable. The highlights of early Smosh mentioned skits,
Previously on Smosh, Anthony lost all his hair. I guess that's it. Enjoy.
and interactive videos.
This one is from Croatia. Sounds like something's broken in there. Hold on. Do they really think my name is Lan? Like they've seen the I in my name and think it was a lowercase L?
And music videos. I also have to mention their series Food Battle, which was an annual thing they did every year.
What are you doing?
Eating a taquito. It's the best food in the world.
Duh, idiot. They're right here in my hand. Pink frosted sprinkled donuts.
Yeah, well, I bet taquitos could do more everyday tasks in this catalog than your stupid pink frosted pieces of crap.
You're on!
And with the help of my new favorite food, we're gonna crush you.
If you think your celery is gonna beat my pink frosted sprinkled donuts, then you're going down!
You won't stand a chance against my new favorite food, churros.
Bring it on, bitch!
They would then compete to see who had the best favorite food by using their foods as various different things.
Let's see whose food can be sunglasses.
I can see the sun! It's all pink and sprinkly! And it's beautiful! Let's see whose food can be an oven mitt.
At the end of the video, the winner survived, the loser did not.
You just won Food Battle 2006.
And next year's video would show the loser being, I don't know, revived.
Anthony, I want a rematch.
You've been dead in my pool for 8 months?
I'm fine.
So now that you know what Smosh is, I bet you're wondering, what does this have to do with us? Why is it so important? Well, I'm so glad you asked. I can't speak for every early 2000s kid, but at least around me and in my own personal life, Smosh was a big deal. I was 6 years old when I discovered Smosh. Back then, YouTube Kids didn't exist, so it was pretty easy to access anything in the world, and I'm so honestly glad it brought me to Smosh, because it could have been so much worse. Anyways, I decided to watch Smosh without headphones one day because I had no idea who they were. What a mistake that was. I was banned from watching Smosh almost instantly. Not a single kid I spoke with at school was allowed to watch Smosh either, but all of us did. We were hanging on their every breath. Every video produced, their sketches, lunchtime with Smosh, meal time with Smosh, and even shut up cartoons.
Shut up!
Cartoons!
When I say we consumed every single piece of Smosh media that was available to us, I am not kidding. We even watched El Smosh sometimes, which was their Spanish translation. And I know you're saying, Ravioli Duck, you've never mentioned speaking Spanish before. Yeah, I don't. But none of the adults that ever ended up watching us knew Spanish either, so it worked out. Before I start this next section, I want to preface that rebellion is not a bad thing. Every teenager, since the emerging teenager in the 1950s to now, has been having some sort of phase of rebellion. And I have to say that because Smosh was a very big part of ours in the early 2000s. Smosh gave us this feeling of being in the know, and as a kid who's constantly told that they can't know stuff, that's really all we ever wanted. Where parents saw stupid, inappropriate content, kids saw comedy, and let's be honest, if you tell a kid not to do something, they're gonna want to do it even more. Being a Smosh fan was like having a secret club that we weren't supposed to be a part of, but we were anyway. It was the fulfillment of the autonomy that we so desperately craved. It was the ability to control what we wanted to watch and making our own choice to watch the people that we thought were funny. And I can say this about a lot of different YouTubers from that time, but these guys were first. This content was absolutely not meant for us. We should not have been watching it, however I can kind of defend this channel and a few others by saying that while kids were not in mind during production, it was not meant with the intention to be predatory towards us, like people argue about some channels and videos today. While kids shouldn't be exposed to inappropriate content at all, that shouldn't even be a question, I just see a huge difference between a Smosh video and, I don't know, a Spider-Man and Elsa video. While one is completely transparent, it shows you exactly what you're going to get when you click on the video and even suggests that it most likely is inappropriate, the other one tricks you into watching it by giving you your two favorite characters and then
BRB could not record this voice line because I was too busy throwing up after looking for examples of that garbage.
Even though we shouldn't have been watching Smosh, there was definitely a reason that we liked them. Not only did they have a sense of humor that we enjoyed watching, but they also covered topics that were really important to us as kids, like video games, Pokemon, emojis. They understood the internet. Some of their sketches even ended with pretty good, or at least honest, morals. The first one that comes to mind is their music video Parents Suck. It was about two kids, played by Ian and Anthony, being alone with no parents after running away.
That's it, Mom! I'm moving out! Me too! Love you, Mom!
They do a lot of crazy things that they couldn't do with their parents around, like eating a bunch of snacks, amongst other things. At the end of the video, they miss their parents and realize the role that they play in their life. Anthony calls his mother and asks her if they could come home. In most kids' programming, the answer would be, "Of course you can come home, honey. I hope you learned your lesson." But here's how it went in the Smosh video.
Hey, Mom.
Hi, son.
Do you think I could move back in?
And hence we learn that there's consequences to our actions that can't always be resolved so easily. What a really kind of deep message for a dumb video like this. Gen Z themselves love to argue that our unrestricted internet access kind of ruined us as a generation, and in ways, yes. Yes, it absolutely did. I fully acknowledge all of the bad things that come from the amount of internet access that we had. There was Omegle, there was things like Salad Fingers, maybe Charlie the Unicorn that we probably shouldn't have been watching.
Oh no! Here comes a school of poisonous fugu fish! No! Fugu!
Yeah, you gotta watch out for those.
And oh my gosh, the scary repost chains that was like, if you don't repost this in 10 seconds, a girl with no eyes will be at the foot of your bed at 3:89 a.m. Tuesday night.
Legend has it that if you send a friend Molester Moon 3 times, they'll then get a series of emojis which will tell them how Molester Moon is gonna kill them.
Those were kind of stupid, but they terrified me. So take this, just in case. Having that much access to the internet came with its pros and its cons, but I don't know. In the end, we have such a strong sense of identity, and I think it's because we were allowed to explore what we liked more than any other generation in the past. We had everything at our fingertips, for better or for worse. Defy Media would go on to purchase Smosh in 2011, which they accepted with the promise of higher production quality. And they did deliver.
I think it's time I got some recognition, don't you think? Legend of Zelda, Legend of Link.
In the haystacks in your mother's laundry. Watch me coming free, running up the walls like a boss. What you looking at, bitch? Trace my tomahawk chop.
A pirate fly for me. Murdering those for free. A pirate fly for me. Murdering those for free.
I also have to mention during this time that they started a movie, they created a game, and they started a second channel with a whole new crew of people. And while these were all great opportunities for Ian and Anthony, there was a really big shift behind the scenes. In 2017, Anthony ended up leaving Smosh since Defy had taken a large creative voice in the company. He explains more in his recent video, I Spent a Day with Ian Hecox, which he posted on his own channel as a part of his I Spent a Day with series.
Like a comedy empire.
I imagined it as an empire, and I
Yeah.
felt like if we put in that work now, then we wouldn't have to do it later. Right.
So I was willing to make the sacrifice of, yeah, sure, I'll work 80 to 100 hours a week working on this thing without any extra pay because it's building toward something bigger.
Yeah.
But that destroyed my mental health. It destroyed my relationships. I don't think that I really talked to my parents during that time. It was just Smosh, eat, and shit. That was it.
Defy had transitioned Smosh from a fun, homegrown channel run by a few close friends to a profitable business venture run by a team of employees. Their videos became lifeless after Anthony's departure, and the fans definitely noticed. The remaining Smosh employees even had a running gag in their videos joking about his absence.
Maybe one day, if we try really hard,
Anthony will come back?
we've ruined it.
In 2018, just a year after Anthony left, Defy Media suspended its company out of the blue, leaving the entire Smosh team completely in the lurch. With no financial backing, the fate of Smosh looked really grim, and it seemed like it was the end. Cue two other legendary early YouTubers, Rhett and Link, with their company Mythical Entertainment. They bought Smosh and gave them full creative control, completely saving the company. Even though Smosh was saved, it still lacked the heart it once had, and that was completely dependent on the return of our leading man, Anthony Padilla. Years passed, and Anthony couldn't get Smosh or his lost friendship with Ian out of his head. When they finally met up, Ian proposed the idea of buying Smosh to Anthony, and he was really surprised that Anthony had already thought about doing this.
We were outside on your deck, and I was like, what if we bought Smosh? And you were like,
I remember,
dude.
I was like, dude, I was just, and I remember literally just jumping up.
Jumped up, and you're like, I've been talking about this for like months with, I think Mikey. I think you were talking to somebody about like the possibility of like owning Smosh again.
Yeah.
And you like launched into this like 30-minute diatribe about what we could do with the channel.
I put together this insane plan in my head.
And I was like sitting there like, Jesus Christ, man. I just like said, what if we bought Smosh?
That brings us to today, where Ian and Anthony both officially co-own Smosh and are now in control of all of their creative decisions. So now they're back on their original channel, creating videos together just like they used to, and the rest of the employees are still employed because they're just working on the second channels. After the initial shock wore off, I started to get nervous because how could they recreate the original feeling that they had in their videos? Even though so much has changed in the several years since they've created a video together, they knocked it out of the park. After watching the first video they made together since taking over the company, I am completely blown away with how they've managed to recapture their old energy while still keeping it fresh and new. I am not ashamed to admit that I absolutely loved this video and I thought it was really funny. I laughed a lot. The weird thing though is that it starred this guy I've never heard of named Ethan.
The dance of Italy, oh, whoa, whoa, it's the dance of Italy, oh, whoa, whoa.
Memento Mori. If you know, you know. And if you don't know, then you will never know. Rest in peace, Una Sanas. Overall, I have been a Smosh fan for over a decade now, and I don't think that'll ever stop. Ian and Anthony, it has been truly wonderful to grow up alongside your content, whether I should have or not.
Wow. I was like, my childhood friend that I grew up with is still here, you know.
Yes.
Congratulations! You've made it to the end of the video. That means that you're in my super secret exclusive club that only my most favorite viewers who watch the whole video are allowed in, so that makes you pretty cool. If you're not already subscribed and you've never heard of me, I cover a lot of nostalgic topics from the early 2000s. Smosh just happened to be a topic from that time that is near and dear to my heart, and I really would have covered them even if they weren't trending right now. It was a coincidence. YouTuber history is fascinating to me, and I have so many ideas for people and topics to cover. So far in my early 2000s series, I have covered 3 early 2000s online world games, so if you played Pet Pet Park, Shidoni, or Moshi Monsters, then go give those videos a watch. I'd love to hear what you think. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a good rest of your day. Goodbye.